Spring has sprung, so get ready for the drive. It's in the cup. Make sure before you watch this one you get your stretch in as we pitch you all the best and clear all the hurdles. Sports Night is next.
Hello everyone, welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. Is this really spring? Is it really spring?
Sort of, kind of, not really.
Don't look out your window.
Right. Doing the preview show for the spring season when there's 8 fresh inches of snow on the ground is more than a little disappointing. Not only for us, a little for us, a lot for all the spring sports programs, because it is going to make for a wild and very busy spring season.
I don't envy those people who have to reschedule games this point of the season, because they're going to have their work cut out for them.
Yeah, Tammy Cardinal, the activities secretary, will definitely be earning her paycheck this spring, because they will be busy every week, and hopefully, a quick turnaround to the weather will get us into the season relatively soon. But we're going to get right into it here on Sports Night and give you a preview of most of the teams here tonight. We start with the baseball program. Coon Rapids program opens a new chapter this spring as 2004 alum Matt Mossy takes over the program. Hall of Famer Coach Jerry Coe retired last spring after 25 years as the Cardinals skipper. Mossy's been on the staff the last several years and also coaches the American Legion team in the summer, so he was a natural choice to keep the program's strong tradition moving forward.
It's a great feeling, actually. It's a program I really care about. Came up through this program, coached in it for a number of years. To take over for someone like Jerry Coe, who helped me immensely in my baseball career, is an honor, and looking forward to putting my spin on the program. And
Coach Mossy's spin will mean mostly subtle differences. Much of the coaching staff returns, so while some things change, a lot will stay the same, including the enthusiasm for another year of baseball.
Obviously, for me, this is different. 25 years with the big guy, but I'm looking forward to it. We got a good group of kids. They're working hard, and I'm excited.
The Cardinals have a long tradition of being a top contender in the Northwest Suburban, but the team has struggled offensively the past few years. Mossy hopes his spin will help get that trend turned around.
I think the game needs to be played a certain way, and we're trying to instill that on the kids and force them to push the envelope a little bit and allow us to create some extra runs and save some runs on defense.
Under Mossy, we're going to be a lot more aggressive. We're going to run the base a lot more. Last year we didn't get as many stolen bases that we could have wanted. And I played Legion with him along with a lot of these other guys, and we ran a lot on Legion. We like to keep pressure on defenses, so I think we'll do that better this year.
Of course, for the Cardinals to be aggressive on the bases, they need to get there first. They've spent a lot of time the first few weeks working on their hitting and making sure everybody is taking advantage of what they're getting.
I think we just need to focus more. Last year we didn't focus as much on hitting as I think we should have. So I think for this year, I think Mossy's already started it a lot, which is a lot of hitting, working on our outside pitches. Because last year we were just trying to pull the ball on outside pitches, but now we're working to put them the other way.
Starting the season with a few weeks in the gym does mean the Cardinals get a lot of work in, but it also means they'll be hard-pressed to get all the games in. A shortened schedule will definitely put a strain on the team, especially on its pitching staff.
I think we got 5 pretty good senior pitchers. Obviously, we want to develop some of the juniors and the younger kids too, because especially if we get outside late, those games are going to start bunching up, and we're going to need pitching. It always starts on the mound, and with games bunched, 4 or 5 games a week maybe, we're going to need pitching.
Once they do get to play ball, the Cardinals will be up against some of the best in the state day in and day out. They're due to open the season against Stillwater, which was the top-ranked team in Minnesota last spring. In fact, they've got at least 5 of the top 10 from last year on their schedule, so they will definitely be tested.
I think we got one of the toughest conferences in Minnesota, like both in season and section. Since we got a new section, I think we're going to do a really good job to compete and stay on top of the standings.
The Cardinals are confident they'll be able to do just that, and they're eager to get to work. Now, if the weather would just cooperate a little more, we'd hopefully get to see the boys of summer take the field for their new coach very soon.
Looking forward to having a good season and hopefully a long career here.
Well, we certainly hope it is a long career. We hope it gets started sometime soon.
Eventually.
They were supposed to be in Stillwater to face that Pony team that was top-ranked team in the state at the end of last season. That's been canceled. I don't know that they'll get that in at all.
Rescheduled for sometime in May.
Hopefully. But, you know, that would obviously get bumped, not a higher priority than the conference games. So tentatively, the season will begin at Maple Grove next Tuesday. But again, we need some weather to turn around in order to get fields in shape.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting changeover because obviously the only coach who you and I have ever dealt with is Jerry Coe. But obviously we're very familiar with Matt Mossy, and he is definitely the right choice to take this program over. He brings that Cardinal alumni feel back to the program, and you know, knowing what Jerry Coe taught and bringing some of that as well.
Yeah, and I look forward to him, to working with him, and look forward to getting into baseball season.
Bring your
and
snowsuits.
softball season.
Bring your snowsuits next Tuesday because we'll be there.
Yeah, we will be.
If
If they're playing, we'll be there.
Well, the softball team is also supposed to open its season on Thursday, no chance, with a non-conference game against Holy Angels. The Cardinals took a big step forward last year, and they returned almost their entire lineup. They're eager to keep things moving forward this season, and they're chomping at the bit to get it started.
It feels really good. I wish we were outside.
We'd like to be outside.
I mean, you want to get outside as soon as possible, so it kind of sucks being crammed in here, but got to make it work.
The Cardinals are coming off one of their most successful campaigns in recent memory. They finished top half of the conference, just a game under 500, and earned themselves a home game to start the playoffs. They only lost 2 seniors from that squad, and they're confident they could take another step this year. But they won't have the element of surprise. Other teams will give them more respect, and they'll be waiting for them.
Yeah, we've always kind of been this cute little team that wins a couple games that they're maybe not supposed to, and learning to play this year with some expectations. You know, people are going to expect us to do well, and how are we going to respond to that? So those are challenges we bring forth every day in practice and try to focus on.
The Cardinals are working hard as ever to reach the goals they're setting for themselves. They know nothing will come easy. None of their opponents will be pushovers, and they know they have to believe in themselves and their ability to win and not stop fighting until the game is over.
I'm going to say either keeping our lead, like being confident with that, but not like letting up, or not getting down right away. Like if we do get down a little bit, like softball's such a fast-paced game, like there's no telling who's going to win. Like we'll be able to come back. Like just got to keep that part, keep fighting.
These Cardinals have as much reason to be optimistic as any team we've seen in a long time. They have a lot of veteran leaders who have played at this level for 2 or even 3 years already. It's a core group that shares a common goal, and they know how to work together, hoping to reach a level this program has been striving towards for a long time.
I think our defense will be pretty good too. We all know each other, so we all know our strengths and our weaknesses, and we build off each other's strengths and learn from each other's weaknesses.
The softball program has had a bit of a roller coaster ride over the last number of years, with highs followed by lows. But these Cardinals are hoping to buck that trend. They know they have a good chance to continue the upswing this year and be a positive influence throughout the school and the entire Coon Rapids community.
I think it's exciting. I think Coon Rapids has always been like the underdog, and I think this year we're going to not be the underdog, and that's just really exciting to see coming through high school and seeing a change in culture throughout the whole school and through the softball program. So it's exciting to me.
So yeah, they also have postponed their season opener, and hoping again to start the season against Maple Grove next Tuesday. And that was one of the things that Coach Nienaber talked about is they know that they open the conference schedule with the Crimson, who is a team that's probably going to be ranked in the top 10. And they would have liked to have gotten at least one game in beforehand. Now we don't know. They're certainly not going to get anything in before next Tuesday, but will they get Maple Grove right away, or will that be pushed back as well?
You know, it'll be an interesting start again. They'll take that success that they accomplished last season and turn it into some positive again, and hopefully improve on that record from last year.
Yeah, it should be a fun group to watch.
Yes.
Well, the tennis team in the same position as most others, hoping spring will finally get here and let them get their season started. The Cardinals were supposed to open the season on Thursday against Blaine before going to Virginia for 3 scrimmages over the weekend. This is a team that had a lot of success last year, but will be put almost completely different lineup on the court this spring.
We are going to have one of our youngest teams in my 20 years. So we graduated 9 off of varsity.
The learning curve for this year's tennis squad will be huge. They returned just one of their top 10 guys from last year, so they need a lot of people to step up quickly.
I mean, these players are a lot younger, but I think that this year, they're filling in nicely. I mean, they're stepping into roles that they haven't before, and I think they're doing it pretty nicely.
The positive is the Cardinals will have a lot of pieces to choose from. They had a very strong showing last spring with more than 20 wins, and whether it's because of that success or due to other factors, there's been a huge swell in numbers in the program this season.
I think we have 48, 49 players out this year, which is a big quantity compared to other years we've had low 30s.
The Cardinals will not make cuts. Instead, they'll add to their staff and do whatever is needed to keep as many of these kids involved and falling in love with a lifelong sport.
The more players we get, the more adjustments we'll make. I think we'll try to run 4 teams. We'll have 2 JVs and a C squad.
Fortunately for the Cardinals, the coaches had the foresight to reserve the indoor courts early in the school year, meaning while they can't get outdoors, at least they can get some quality swings in.
Obviously, it's a little more cramped being on 4 courts than our 14 at home, but I like it personally.
The Cardinals should have a lot of flexibility this season. Many of the new players are multi-sport athletes that bring different skills and a competitive nature to the team. They hope that'll help as they battle their way through a very tough conference schedule.
In the conference, I'd say we'll probably finish around the middle. I mean, there are some really good teams in the Northwest Suburban, but that's not to say that we're not a pretty good team now. So I'd say we can finish around middle of the conference.
The Cardinals are realistic with their expectations this year with such a young squad. This will be a foundation-setting season, and they're looking for a lot of the new players to take big strides as they move through the spring.
Watch them improve. It's going to be exciting to watch these guys improve.
Watching that improvement all season long here on Sports Night. Hopefully we'll get out and get to see him in action a little bit as well. But definitely with such a young squad, great to see those numbers though. And Coach Stork also talked about all the multi-sport athletes and what a benefit that is to their program. And so that's great to see a growing program and a program that, will they get back to the 20 win mark again this year? Maybe not. But, if they, with that kind of base, they build back to it relatively quickly.
I drove by the courts today. They're not ready, by the way, in case somebody was wondering. Coach Stork is really good at kind of juggling his lineups around as the season progresses. And we've seen him do that. You're not going to see the same players start at singles or doubles usually in the beginning of the season that you're going to see by the end. So he'll juggle that, having that young staff, young kids, and he'll be able to find the right combination to do the best they can.
Yeah, and I think it's really great that the program, when they have that many kids, they say, you know what, we're going to add some staff members, we're going to add another team, we're going to make sure these kids get as much tennis as we can get for them and keep them involved and playing. So that's fantastic. Hopefully, I'm not sure what the status is for the trip to Virginia this weekend. They're supposed to play with Virginia and Thief River Falls, and then they're supposed to be opening at Elk River next Tuesday.
It's a little nicer up north.
Who knows? Yeah,
we'll
and who knows? When they'll be able to actually get those are scrimmages up in Virginia, but who knows when they'll be able to get the real season going. The nice part is, if you clear the snow off, all it needs to do is dry.
Yep.
We've seen them start when there's still 4 inches of ice all the way around the courts, but the courts get dry. So hopefully they can get that taken care of relatively quickly.
Nice thing about tennis is they can go indoors and do exactly what they want to when they're outdoors, other than the wind conditions.
Correct.
Yeah. There's nowhere to go but up for the boys track and field team, and the sky's the limit for this group of Cardinals. They didn't have nearly the type of success they would have liked last year, but they're confident they'll more than make up for it this spring. Cardinals return a lot of veterans with a lot of talent, committed to turning a lot of heads. The Cardinals start the season with a sense of urgency. They are not satisfied with last year's finish, and they're determined to turn things around.
We're really positive, and we want to work together, work hard to get better as individuals and as a team, because we're setting some pretty high goals, and I think we can achieve them.
The Cardinals have a little less than half of last year's varsity lineup, And the guys are coming to practice ready to work and eager to improve themselves and their team.
I mean, it's been good so far. We've had a lot of kids show up, which is a surprise to me because not a lot of kids show up. But we got a good squad this year, and then they've been working us, so we're doing good.
The Cardinals had a bit of a down year in 2017, finishing 14th in both conference and section meets. It left a bad taste in their mouths and a pit in their stomachs. And they've taken it upon themselves to find more help to get back to where they need to be.
Numbers. So not in the building no more. I'm teaching in a different building, so kids recruiting itself. Kids started joining, and then next thing you know, 25 kids show up the next day more. So it's kind of running itself with signing up right now.
Fun is an important aspect of all sports, and track is no different. The veterans want to make the practices enjoyable, but they also want their younger teammates to understand there is work to do.
There's a lot of new kids, and with that comes some challenges. Like, we need to get everybody on the same page and understand that this is a really serious program and that we're trying to actually build something out of this.
The Cardinals have kids as young as 7th grade hoping to contribute to this year's team. And while it's the younger athletes that might need the most help learning to compete at this level, they can also provide a great deal of assistance to getting the team closer to its goal.
Our 9th grade group, we got some good speed down there, some good athleticism, so it'll be exciting to see what they can put together through the year to help send out some of our older kids so they don't have to like overload on some of their running events.
Track and field is primarily an individual sport, and there are a number of Cardinals that have a good chance to reach their lofty personal goals this season. At the same time, these guys are united in their desire to bring the program back to prominence, and they're committed to lifting each other up and pushing each other forward to make sure the team succeeds as well.
We all have our own sections, but at the end of the day, I know that I can count on anybody to help me and to help everybody else as well.
Good interview. So we'll see again when they're able to get going, but season most likely going to be delayed for track teams as well. The girls team is hoping to improve on the success it had last season. They've got some good pieces to start with. Cardinals finished 5th in the Northwest Suburban last year and 7th at the section meet. They return a solid group of veterans from that team and have a lot of new talent coming in that could help them take the next step.
Yeah, it's really good. We can definitely get more people in each event and actually try to win more meets and get a higher place.
The numbers are up in the Cardinals camp this spring, and that's a great thing. The team had a lot of success last season, mostly thanks to its depth. And they're looking to reload and return to action without missing a step.
We did lose some key individuals last year, some depth in a few areas, but with those new girls that we have coming in and that new talent that we're trying to figure out how to use, we could end up being better.
The optimism is palpable at practice. The Cardinals have a lot of talented veterans leading the way, and the coaching staff is doing things a little differently, hoping it will help their athletes reach new heights.
I think that we're going to be pretty good, especially with the new training techniques and the new things that we're doing this year. So yeah, I think we're going to do pretty well with all the competition.
Like the rest of their schoolmates, the track and field athletes are making the best of being stuck indoors to start the season. And the coaching staff is using the opportunity to help the girls really fine-tune their approach to competition.
But the positives are we're starting to grow the depth. We've been working on some small technical things a lot more diligently this year with the sprinters and with our distance girls, and that's been making us, hopefully going to be making us a lot stronger overall.
If the Cardinals are to improve on last year's finish, they'll need contributions from all parts of the team. And fortunately, they have the type of leaders they need in every area. Many of their veterans are picking up right where they left off, and they're encouraged by what they're seeing from their new teammates.
I feel like we have a lot of really dedicated girls, a lot of strong girls who are going to really get out there this season and, put in the extra work, put in all the weightlifting. I see that they enjoy it a lot and they're really focused at practice and stuff, so I see a lot of potential in all of us.
The team won't be able to realize its full potential, of course, until they get outside and get a chance to truly compete. That time is guaranteed to come. But until then, these Cardinals are focusing on the process, mastering the details, and preparing as best they can for when that time arrives.
I think we're looking really good, and by especially getting our foundations down and doing reps and stuff, that'll help us a lot throughout season.
So they are supposed to open the season next Tuesday at Centennial in a quad meet with Blaine and Irondale, and then at Anoka the following Tuesday. Again,
you just don't know.
It's just everything's kind of up in the air right now. Again, it was already most likely the season for everybody was already going to be pushed back, and then we get 8 fresh inches today.
Well, kind of the theme here tonight. The boys golf team was the first program to postpone.
They were the first ones to figure it out.
They were the first ones to figure it out. They were the first to postpone the opener, moving the annual Bunker Hill Invitational back to the 17th. They're hoping they'll be able to get outside for at least a couple of rounds before competition starts. But the weather so far has been less than cooperative. Fortunately for the Cardinals programs, they're at least able to get to on time to the simulators.
Very accurate. They tell you a lot as far as distance and direction that the golf ball is going. So they are accurate, but it is nice to get them out on the range where you can actually see where the ball is going to. So
the slow start to spring is more than a little frustrating for the golf teams. The opening of the course could be as much as 6 weeks later than it was last year. That means the only way the athletes can prove themselves is on the simulator.
Well, right now we're in the simulators, and it's kind of tough to really show how much our swing is improved or what we need to improve on.
The Cardinals coaching staff is doing its best to evaluate the talent they have competing for this year's squad. They have a couple of returning veterans and a lot of newer players eager to fill the spots left open. They probably won't decide who will play at which level until they can at least get a look at the boys hitting outside.
So we're going to give them a couple-week tryout, and you can tell a lot from the simulators, and you can also tell a lot when you get out and start hitting out onto the range. So hopefully we can get out there soon.
The delayed start means condensing an already short spring season. Even when teams are able to get on the course in early March, they don't have time in a high school season to make major improvements. The true development happens in the off-season and over the summer.
Golf is a very difficult game, and you got to put the time in. So that's what we're stressing this year, is just to fall in love with the game, become passionate about the game, and then everything else falls in place.
Even though they've been trapped inside on the simulators, that message seems to be sinking in. The returning players feel they've got a group in the room that is more committed and ready to do whatever they can to improve themselves and help the team.
This year, I feel like more kids will be, have more drive to do better this year and work harder. Because last year we had a lot of kids that didn't really want to show up, and this year we have more that want to.
This is a team that will probably finish toward the bottom of a very tough Northwest Suburban Conference. But it's a program in the midst of rebuilding. The Cardinals added a middle school program last season, and they offer unlimited lessons to their players. The hope is it will lead to having a lot of kids who are committed to improving and spending as much time as possible on the fairways.
Every year is special when you're able to go out on the golf course and play golf every day. And that's what we're trying to tell the kids, is it's a special game and it's a special place. With all that's going on in the world, what a great place to be. I mean, you go out and play golf and you don't worry about anything but golf.
Well, you do worry a little bit about whether you'll be able to play. They did push Bunker Hill Invite back another week to Tuesday the 17th. So they've got 2 weeks for this fresh snow to disappear and the courses to get playable again. But we need some warmer weather. We need some sun. We need maybe a little bit of rain to help
some
knock
prayers.
down.
We need some prayers at this point.
I think there's plenty of prayers out there, but keep them coming because we'll use all the help we can get because this is going to be very tough. We did have a year just a few years back that we had snow into May,
right?
But I don't think we had anything this late where it was this heavy and this much
and this
snow.
At this point.
Yeah, we're looking at through the end of the week. I don't know that we're going to crack freezing, so going to make it real tough. But after that, their first scheduled Northwest Suburban Conference match is the 23rd at the Keller.
I love the fact that anybody who wants to golf for the Coon Rapids team, they give them all the tools that they need. Free lessons, a pass to bunker to continue to improve their game. So anybody out there wants to golf, this is a great opportunity to learn the game.
This is a fantastic program. They get many more benefits than most other schools because they have Bunker Hills right in their backyard, and they do have the benefit of using the simulators, which a lot of other schools don't get the opportunity to. A lot of other schools are just, they're fighting for time in their gyms with all the other sports, and they're hitting into a net, and that's the best they can do. So a benefit, and hopefully it'll pay dividends for both Cardinals teams this season. Girls teams in the simulator to start the season as well, and things will get a little crowded when the Lady Cardinals are in the room. There are 32 girls out for the team this year, nearly twice the size of the boys program. They return a lot of players with varsity experience, and they're in a good position to take the team to a new level.
I think the team is really good. There's a bunch of new people, so I'm excited to see what all of them can do.
The swell in numbers is a welcome problem for the Cardinals to start the season. They're going to keep as many as they can manage, but they will have to make cuts, something that's difficult to determine with only simulator play to go by.
Well, since it's not that great outside, we can't go out and get scores and see who can lie where and everything, so it's hard to just golf just in the simulators to see where everyone is at.
The skill and experience the Cardinals are returning this season should give them a bit of a leg up on some of the competition. And while working in the simulator limits what they can do, the Cardinals know it'll be an advantage for them once the season finally starts.
We're not getting our true approach shots, we're just getting accuracy with regards to distance and trajectory. So we're not getting the putts that we need to get in, we're not getting the feel of the green, we're not working around the green on our short game, which is where you reduce your scores quite a bit. So there's plenty of negatives, but for what we have, like I said, we're in a much better position than a lot of other schools out there.
The Cardinals are coming off one of their best seasons in recent memory, and they've got every reason to believe it's just the beginning. They returned just 2 of their everyday varsity players. They have 7 or 8 girls that got experience at the varsity level last spring.
Yeah, the returning players I think will help the team improve, and the new people coming in for them to improve will help the team also.
The Cardinals' experience will help them in more than just skill. The confidence they have coming into this season may just be their greatest asset. They believe they can compete with any team in the conference as they strive to move up in the Northwest Suburban.
But I don't think the girls are afraid of any course or any other team out there. We will kind of take a step up as far as the final standings, I'm quite sure of that, and continue on for the next couple of years to do that. But it's one hole at a time, one tee box at a time. So we're just kind of enjoying the experience of golf and hopefully creating a lot of lifelong golfers. But we'll be more competitive, that's for sure.
The Cardinals feel this is a big year for the program. They've got the players they need and the attitude it will take to demand the respect they deserve. And they know the pressure is on them to perform every time they take the course.
Coach Trapp, myself, and Rachel are pretty adamant about telling the girls, don't bring pockets out there because there's no room for excuses.
Couldn't have a girls golf preview without having a Keeneyism to end it. That's right. We're excited to get the season started. They're scheduled to start with an invitational at Shamrock next Thursday, the 12th, and then Fox Hollow on Monday, the 16th. Keep your fingers crossed, and again, those prayers or sun dances or whatever you can do to help spring finally get here. The lacrosse teams just started their tryouts this week. We'll get previews for you next week on Sportsnight, and then they start their season on Friday the 13th against Spring Lake Park. Here's theoretically what we will have coming up for you. Baseball at Maple Grove on Tuesday the 10th, softball against Spring Lake Park on the 12th, and then boys lacrosse against Osseo Park Center on the 16th. But that's going to do it for this edition of Sportsnight. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us, continue to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young. Say goodnight.